he sang, but he wasn't singing like, he did with the Dominos. They didn't make that transition yet.
Bobby Whitlock, a key writing partner of Eric Clapton and a co-founder of Derek and the Dominos, just passed away at his Texas home. Found out today that vocalist and keyboardist Bobby Whitlock passed away. In 1970, Whitlock and Eric Clapton formed Derek and the Dominos, a blues rock group. He passed away in his Texas home. Bobby Whitlock was 77. Clapton abruptly ended his years-long silence over their relationship shortly after, generating a tremendous amount of interest in the music industry. This is a significant milestone that closes a chapter in history related to the iconic album Layla and other love songs, in addition to the tragic news of an artist's passing. The turbulent history between the two has finally exposed details that have never been made public after more than 50 years of collaboration in composition and performing. According to Eric Clapton, Bobby Whitlock's passing was an irreplaceable loss. He sent his last wishes and noted that Whitlock was a great friend on his personal page as soon as the news was confirmed. "I shall always miss his voice and spirit," Clapton emphasized. "We had some memorable times together." After hours of silence regarding their relationship, the two finally shared their thoughts in a succinct but clear manner. Whitlock's passing ended Clapton's sporadic public remarks regarding the former Derek and the Dominos members. According to a person close to Clapton, he had been keeping a careful eye on Whitlock's condition in the last few weeks of his life. Although they hadn't collaborated musically in years, they had kept in touch via private phone conversations. Clapton was aware of Whitlock's progress from his early days at Stax to his role as a co-founder of Dominos. He remarked, "I'm always proud to have Bobby by my side, and we went through the best and the worst together." Eric Clapton and Bobby Whitlock had been together since they discovered a unique musical connection when touring with Delaney and Bonnie. Together, the two swiftly established a unique sound when they created Derek and the Dominos, fusing Whitlock's organ and lush vocals with Clapton's melancholy guitar. These sessions, where ideas were shared continuously and recordings were finished in a matter of days, produced songs like Bell Bottom Blues and Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad? This partnership served as the basis for one of Clapton's most well-known albums, Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs. However, simmering conflicts started to surface behind the songs. Whitlock and Clapton started to clash over creative direction during the recording process. The band's structure was altered by Duane Allman's arrival, which increased the members' workload while also providing fresh inspiration. Even though the songs were completed to a high standard, the studio mood was strained due to the weariness from the lengthy sessions and strict timelines. The partnership was put to the test once Layla was finished. Their on-stage chemistry was evident in Domino's live performances, but the partnership was weakened behind the scenes by personal issues, touring schedules, and financial strains. Whitlock and Clapton's discussions frequently turned into disputes, according to a person close to the group, particularly when it came to song choices and arrangements. Nevertheless, the two remained collaborators long enough to finish the tour and several other unfinished projects. Whitlock sold the royalties on the songs he co-wrote after Domino's disbanded. It was a contentious but important choice, and years later, Clapton made sure Whitlock had money. Whitlock himself attested to the fact that Eric ensured, "I was never excluded." These comments imply that despite their antagonism, the two still respected one another. Fans saw a unique reunion between Clapton and Whitlock on television for Shia Boa with Jules Holland in the early 2000s. Even though it didn't result in a long-term collaboration, their performance of Bell Bottom Blues was regarded as evidence of Clapton and Whitlock's ability to set aside their problems and get back on stage together. They did it with the same assurance and chemistry. Through private discussions and sporadic meetings, the two kept in touch throughout the ensuing years. Although they stopped writing and recording together, they still shared a joyous and musical connection. Clapton's sympathies for Whitlock's passing were particularly impactful because of their friendship. Many people consider Whitlock and Clapton's collaboration on Dominos to be among the decade's most distinctive rock duos. Whitlock gave the recordings warmth and depth in addition to giving Clapton a voice that complemented his. Before the demands of work upset their perfect balance, Whitlock's loud and strong personality and their varied personalities, Clapton quiet and introverted, were perfect. Their narrative is one of strife and respect, from meeting to band formation, to hard writing and recording sessions, to disbanding and briefly reforming. These connections frequently have a lasting effect, and the fact that Clapton voiced his disapproval of Whitlock's leaving shows that their shared creations have always been valued despite their past conflicts. From the Dominos soul to Stax handclaps. Born in 1948 in Memphis, Tennessee, Bobby Whitlock came from a low-income household. He was exposed to blues, soul, and gospel at a young age while growing up in the city's thriving music culture. Whitlock had the exceptional chance to become the first white artist signed to Stax Records as a young man by way of its hip subsidiary. Simple backing tracks with hand claps on Sam and Dave's I Thank You were his first studio creations. Although it was a modest beginning, it gave him access to the music business. Whitlock met some of Memphis' best producers and musicians at Stax. He learned about harmony and rhythm from his time spent in this setting, as well as how to set up a productive recording session. Despite playing a supporting role during the recordings, he started honing his technique on the Hammond organ, which would come to represent his career. Whitlock moved from Memphis to Los Angeles in 1968 in pursuit of better prospects. He joined the up-and-coming soul rock group Delaney and Bonnie there. Whitlock was able to play an organ, write songs with the other members, and sing lead vocals after joining the group. When Eric Clapton joined the group on a European tour in 1969, he also met Clapton here for the first time. Their rapid development of musical chemistry laid the groundwork for their future collaborations. Was asked to take part in more significant recording sessions alongside Delaney and Bonnie Whitlock. He participated in John Lennon's composition for the London Christmas show in 1969. He recorded on George Harrison's album All Things Must Pass, which featured a number of well-known musicians, around the beginning of 1970. Through these encounters, Whitlock was able to strengthen his reputation as a versatile performer and broaden his network of contacts throughout the Anglo-American music community. Clapton and Whitlock started working closely together in 1970 as he was looking for a fresh direction following his Blind Faith project. They founded Derek and the Dominos with Jim Gordon and Carl Rattle. Whitlock, who had worked with high-energy bands like Delaney and Bonnie, contributed his Memphis soul and experience to the group. Whitlock and Clapton's playing skills combined to produce the Dominos' distinctive sound, which is soulful and forceful. Whitlock was more than just a supporting voice and organist. He co-wrote the lyrics and melodies for several of the band's most well-known songs. These contributions distinguished the Dominos from other blues rock bands of the era and served to define the group's character. Many of his contemporaries have observed that the group's appeal stemmed from Clapton's fusion of Whitlock's soul and blues. Clapton's guitar was frequently accompanied by rich, deep chords that Whitlock frequently supplied throughout the recording sessions. His ability to sing in harmony enhanced the main voices, resulting in recordings with vibrant colors. Members of Dominos who remember this era recognize Whitlock's contribution to preserving the musical harmony of the ensemble. Whitlock's presence on stage produced a vibrant environment. He demonstrated his ability to support Clapton as a musical leader by taking on numerous lead vocals. Whitlock was seen by fans at the time as more than just Clapton's organist. He was a unique musical figure. Throughout his early career, Whitlock was always growing. Every move he made, from Memphis to Los Angeles to London and Miami, gave him experience and the chance to work with well-known people. In addition to fame, his relationship with Clapton was founded on respect for one another and a love of blues and soul. Whitlock also achieved one of his most creative peaks during the Dominos' inception. Numerous songs were finished in the studio during the frequent sessions with Clapton and the other members. Despite occasionally being tense, the collaborative environment resulted in work that would go on to become masterpieces. Whitlock, who had a solid foundation in Stax and Delaney and Bonnie, brought to Dominos his ability to write songs, play many instruments, and perform with vigor. His rapid rise to prominence as a vital member of the team can be attributed to his meticulous preparation. Bobby Whitlock's journey, from Stax applause to being in the spotlight with Derek and the Dominos, is the tale of an artist who took risks and made the most of his experience. He was ready for the most significant writing and recording phase of his career thanks to this journey. Layla, the album, and other love songs that made a lasting impression on music history. Magnificence and Breaks. Producer Tom Dowd oversaw the recording of Layla and other various love ballads at Criteria Studios in Miami from August to October 1970. With Duane Allman joining them on numerous albums, it was Derek and the Dominos' first and only project with the original four members. Bobby Whitlock delivered lead or harmony vocals on numerous songs and played the Hammond organ keyboard. Bell Bottom Blues, Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad, Tell the Truth, Any Day, Keep on Growing, I Looked Away, and Thorn Tree in the Garden are among the 7 songs on the album that he co-wrote. The songs received recognition for their skillful fusion of lyrical melodies and strong blues rock. The Layla conclusion, often known as the coda, is one of the song's most noteworthy sections. The slow piano melody it employs creates a very different atmosphere than the start. Whitlock has discussed the origins of the coda and expressed his opinion that it does not align with the song's original essence. However, the song's finale was kept in the finished version and has since gained notoriety. Duane Allman's inclusion gave the album a new auditory dimension. Allman added poignant lines, particularly in the song Layla, using a slide guitar. Though its artistic merits, including Layla and other various love songs, were not originally commercially successful, Whitlock frequently lauded Allman's talent and the strong musical relationship between Allman and Clapton, stating that it was the aspect that made the album distinctive. The record did not sell well, and several of the concerts that promoted it did not draw big crowds. Critics quickly acknowledged its worth, though, and the album eventually came to be regarded as one of the best examples of rock music of the decade. There were also times during the recording session when the members worked well together. Each member contributed ideas to add or change the words and music for several of the songs, which were finished during extended sessions. Whitlock's background with Stax, Delaney, and Bonnie allowed him to control the tempo and mood of each tune while maintaining rich harmonies in the studio. During this time, internal disputes also started to surface in addition to the successes. Communication between the band was occasionally strained due to their hectic schedules, pressure from record labels, and differences in artistic vision. Although they continued to collaborate to finish the album, Whitlock and Clapton had developed riffs that would have an impact on the group's future. Some songs were recorded with just the 4 original members because Allman's hectic schedule with the Allman Brothers Band prevented him from participating in the full recording session. As a result, the music shifted from upbeat slide guitar-driven songs to softer, more subtle ones that were led by Whitlock on the organ or piano. Whitlock's personal song, Thorn Tree in the Garden, serves as the album's closing track. In contrast to the intensity of the preceding tracks, the straightforward guitar and vocal track offers a peaceful conclusion. It's an obvious illustration of Whitlock's capacity to evoke a variety of feelings and his contribution to the album's nuance. The popularity of songs like Bell Bottom Blues and Layla, which have been listened to for many generations, further confirmed the worth of these and other love songs. Whitlock's contributions, from composition to arrangement and performance, are inextricably linked to the elements that made this accomplishment possible. Whitlock's career would be forever changed by the events he had while recording Layla. It was evidence of his inventiveness as well as the start of the band's internal strife. Conflicts and demands would drive Derek and the Dominos to the verge of disbanding shortly after the album's release, bringing an end to Whitlock and Clapton's brief but outstanding collaboration. Fans' and reviewers' perceptions of Bobby Whitlock and Eric Clapton's relationship were influenced by the story of Layla and other love songs, which covered everything from musical achievement to simmering riffs. Lone on an Empty Stage, it was the piece that best reflected their chemistry and signaled the start of the significant changes that were about to occur inside the group. Derek and the Dominos were under a lot of strain with the publication of Layla and other love songs. The members were worn out by the demanding traveling schedule and the quiet disputes. The group formally disbanded by May 1971. Bobby Whitlock started pursuing a solo career after leaving the joint project with Eric Clapton. Bobby Whitlock, his debut album, was well reviewed and reached number 140 on the Billboard charts. Raw Velvet, which he published the same year, reached at number 190. Whitlock's independence as a singer-songwriter and instrumentalist was showcased by these 2 albums. He also contributed background instrumentals to the Rolling Stones' Exile on Maine's album at this time. albeit he was not given credit for it. Whitlock published Rock Your Socks Off and One of a Kind in the ensuing years. Despite their poor sales, they were a reflection of his own musical style, with more experimentation in song structure and the soul and blues components that had characterized him during the Dominos era. He kept recording and performing as much as he could while collaborating with several other musicians. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, Whitlock's public engagements decreased. He concentrated on little enterprises and his personal life, rarely attending important events. He continued to stay in touch with many of his friends and industry colleagues, despite the fact that he no longer frequently made appearances on television or the charts. This quiet continued until Whitlock started making a few special appearances in the late 1990s. These performances demonstrated that his unique voice and vibrant musicianship were still present. Jools Holland performed Bell Bottom Blues in front of an audience during Whitlock and Clapton's joint televised appearance on Later Paul in 2000. Because it was the first time the two had worked together in public since the Dominos split, it was a noteworthy occasion. Whitlock went on his own after that brief reunion and declined to work with Clapton on a long-term project. His profession changed to one that was less demanding and concentrated on writing alone and working with independent musicians. Without the demands of his Domino heyday, he was able to sustain a musical presence through smaller performances and project-style records. Whitlock also started to become more interested in things other than music around this time, such as spending time with his family and engaging in other artistic endeavors. Even though his solo career wasn't as well known as his Clapton era, his fans still held him in high regard for its excellence and consistency with his musical persona. For those who have collaborated with Whitlock, his value has not decreased as a result of his decision to step away from the spotlight. He maintains a serious approach to his music while striking a balance between his personal life and his art, as evidenced by his solo work and smaller collaborations. At this time, he is progressively entering a new chapter, one that prioritizes sustainability and creative satisfaction over giving in to market pressure. The last bit of advice. Bobby Whitlock prioritized his personal life and a few musical endeavors throughout the 2000s. He started working together when he married singer-songwriter Coco Carmel. Together, the two composed, recorded, and played local venues, sustaining a musical career free from lengthy tours and label pressure. Whitlock was able to express his music as he saw fit and maintain a relationship with his devoted fan base thanks to this mix. Whitlock spends time painting in addition to playing music. He began doing abstract art in 2018 because he saw it as an additional means of expressing his feelings and thoughts. Viewers have given his paintings excellent reviews, and they have appeared in a number of modest exhibitions. His life has become significantly impacted by this artistic endeavor, which gives him a balance between rest and creativity. Whitlock's health quickly deteriorated in 2025 as a result of cancer. Despite his illness's quick course, he kept in touch with friends and carried on with some creative endeavors until he was unable to do so any longer. 77-year-old Bobby Whitlock died at home in Texas early on the morning of August 10, 2025. Manager Carol Kay verified this information and provided a quick update on his passing. After battling the illness for a while, Coco Carmel expressed her feelings for her life companion and musical colleague in a heartfelt parting post. Our dear friend Bobby Whitlock has passed away at the age of 77. Eric Clapton said on his own Facebook page that same day. Goodbye, Bobby Kicks Pecs. Clapton had never discussed Whitlock's passing in public before. Whitlock's death ends a half-century career in music, and it was a moment that garnered particular attention because it signaled the end of the original generation of Derek and the Dominos members. In addition to co-writing songs that have been cherished by generations, he leaves behind a legacy of timeless recordings and an artist who has stuck to his own sound. Carmel Whitlock has demonstrated tenacity and adaptation to various periods of the music industry throughout his career, from his days with Stax Records and Clapton to his collaborations with Coco. Whitlock was more than simply a co-worker to Clapton. He was an integral part of one of the most innovative periods of his career. Clapton's succinct yet straightforward description of his passing captures the breadth of Whitlock's impact on music and life. Bobby Whitlock is regarded as a creative songwriter, a talented instrumentalist, and a soulful vocalist. His music has endured over time, as evidenced by the fact that songs like Bell Bottom Blues and Thorn Tree in the Garden can still be heard in concerts, on radio programs, and in fan collections. Please like and subscribe to Bobby Whitlock's channel to see more music tales if you think this video has improved your understanding of him and his career. Remember to share your recollections or views about Bobby Whitlock in the comment section. We can preserve his legacy in the hearts of music fans if we work together.